Hello and welcome to my channel, Making Crafts. Today I am going to be making a last minute gratitude journal. So if you have not made your fall journal or your gratitude journal, this is a quick little project and a fun little way to make one. And so I'm going to be using the Simple Vintage Country Harvest Collection Kit by Simple Stories, and I'm going to be using the little harvest bits to decorate with as well. And I got both of these from therubberbuggy.com. And this is part of my rubberbuggy.com design team project. So I will link below to all the products that I use and that I got from their store. Okay, so first off, start out by deciding some of the papers that I'm going to set aside. I'm going to set these aside because these will make good little journaling cards to tuck into pockets. I'm going to use these two for my cover, and then I have several more. These are just strips left over from where I made another project. I'm going to go ahead and show you this video first so that you can get your gratitude journal made, and then the next project I will upload as well. So I will tell you what I have done is for the other project I went through and I had cut off a strip from here. And the strip was a 4 1/4 strip. So that left me all of these to create this project. So for this little journal that we're making, I'm going to take this piece, and it measures 7 3/4 by 12. So you just need a piece that measures 7 3/4 by 12. And this could be a little gratitude journal, or this could be another little journal that you tuck inside of your junk journal. It'll be a smaller journal that you tuck inside. So we want to take we're going to take our 7 3/4 by 12-inch sheet, and we're going to score it. And I want to make sure I got it turned up the right way. Okay, so I'm going to score it at 4. Be careful not to push too hard. You don't want to tear your paper. So you're going to score 4, 4 1/2, 5, 5 1/2, 6, 6 1/2, 7, 7 1/2, and then again at 8. This project is going to have more measurements than a lot of my projects, but I will try to find a place either below or somehow give you a list of how to cut everything. So we're going to start with these score lines. You're going to fold on the score lines. So I'm just going to fold on the first one, and you want to press with your bone folder. In order for this to line up straight, you're going to need to press with your bone folder. So then your next score line, you need to fold back on it. So we're going to fold back, and I made a similar project like this in another video. So if you've seen all my videos, you've seen me make something similar to this in the past. So the base is going to be the same as in that video, but we're going to do quite a few different things to this one. So now, that way you should have a little piece inside here. It looks like that. So you can just push down on the crease that the score line that you made, and you should make a little peak inside here. So there we have one peak. So then for the next, so for that peak, you want to press it down really good. Because like I said, this will not be straight if you do not get those pressed really good. So then the next score line, we're just going to fold back on that score line. And then we're just going to press really good there. We want to get that really good and creased. So then you're going to see here, you have another score line. So you want to take, and you're going to fold forwards with that score line, and then just press. Okay, so then the next score line is here. You're just going to fold back on that score line. So let me see if I can get it to fold back. And then we're just going to press. And just press really good with your bone folder or whatever you have to press down. Then you have another score line. So let's take and fold forward on that score line. I couldn't get the words out. Then we're going to fold the next score line. We're just going to fold back. So we have score lines every 1/2 inch. So we're just going to fold and score really good, press really good on those score lines. And then we got one more, so we're just going to fold forward. And so let's just get that pressed down. Get everything, you just want to go in and press everything really good. I'm going to press this back just a little bit here to make sure I get it pressed really well. And there we have our little book. So now let's just go ahead and go through, and so when you open up your book, you're going to have these peaks sticking up. So you got 4 peaks. So what we need to do is go on the back side here, which is going to be, we need to actually go on the front side of our cover. So we're on the front side of our cover. We're going to put glue inside of each one of those valleys so that we can glue our peaks together. So I'm just going to go through and put glue on the inside of each one of these valleys. Okay, and just press it together. So I'm just going to press over. So just add glue to one first and then just press till you get it good and tight. And then just add glue again to the next one. I'm just adding glue to one side. That's all you need to do of the peak or of the valley. And then I'm just folding that over, and then I'm pressing really good. And then you just add your glue again. You keep doing the same thing for all of these valleys. I'm just pressing over, and I got some glue on the outside there, so just wipe it off. There we go. Just press really tight. I'm going to do this one. And I'm just using art glitter glue. You could use Tombow. I feel like Tombow does good. Some of the glue runners do really good. So there's several choices for glue that you could use on this. You could use the tape, the glue tape, the double-sided tape. You could use that for this. And mine is having a little issue here. I'm not sure why. Sometimes this happens with these where that is sticking out. I could go back and trim it off, but for now I'm going to leave it because I'm not really worried about it. So then we have all of our peaks here. And if that bothers you, you could take it off, but I actually think it adds to the color, so I'm fine with it because I love the inside of these little dots here. All right, so now that we have our little book made, then it's time to cut all the pieces down. And so I'm going to list the measurements below or somewhere. I will link below where the measurements are so that you have everything that you need to be able to cut this. But I'm going to go ahead and call out the measurements as I go along. So as I'm putting it together, I'm going to give you the measurements, but I'm also going to have them listed below. So we want to start out with a piece of cardstock that is cut to 7 tall by 3 3/4 wide. So I'm going to be inking these with the Distress Oxide, and I'm using ground Espresso. So you want to take your 7 by 3 3/4 piece, and you want to decide which one you want on the front and which one you want on the back. This is going to be my front. I think that looks good. Let me make sure that looks good. I think that looks good with my cover. And so we're going to glue it to the first flap. So what we're going to do though is we're going to take and we're going to line it up on the flap, and I'm just going to leave a little bit here at the bottom, and then at the top I'm going to leave about the width of my thumb, or about a 1/2 inch, I think is what it's going to be. And so we just want to add glue to this flap. So what I like to do is just lay this here, and then I can eyeball where my glue needs to go. Also, what you want to do is this journal is going to have flips and flaps, and it's going to be a little bit different than any journal that you typically see, that I typically make on my channel. But I have made one of these before, but I'm doing it different this time, so that's why I wanted to show it to you. So you're going to want to watch this video all the way through, and then come back with your papers and everything ready to go, and then watch it as you make it with me. And that will make it a lot easier for you to make it. If you try to make it without watching it all the way through first, it may not make sense and you may mess up. And that's what I like to do. If I'm watching a tutorial, I like to watch it all the way through and then go back and make it. That way, I know ahead of time what all I'm going to need, but I also have in my head what I'm doing, and I don't get confused and mess up. Now when I glued this down, I didn't glue it all the way up to the fold line because I want to be sure that my cover is going to close and that everything is going to line up okay. Then you want to take your next piece, which is going to be 7 by 7 1/2. And we're going to get our scoreboard, and we're going to score. So we're going to lay it in here, and you want to lay it so that your 7 1/2 side is pointing to the top here, and it goes all the way to 7 1/2. And then we're going to score at 1 1/2, and then we're going to score again at 4 1/2, just like that. Okay, so then you just want to fold your score on your score lines. So we're just going to fold over this way, and I'm just going to press it, and then we're going to fold this one in like this. So here we go. Let's get this all folded up. So then you're going to have it like this, and it'll flip out like that. We have it scored at 4 1/2 and at 1 1/2. You're going to take your 1 1/2 and fold it in, and then you're going to fold again at your 4 1/2. And we got to make sure that does not hang over any. Okay, so that's going to be a pocket on the back side. So you got to pay close attention on how this is going to work. So we're going to lay it on here as our pocket, and then it needs to have enough room that this is going to fold back out. So what you want to do is we're going to glue. So the part that has the flap, the 1 1/2 inch flap folded down, that does not get glued. It's the other side that gets glued. So we want to add glue down the side, just on that side from the 4 1/2 score mark down. We just want to add glue. So down through here, across the bottom, and just down the other side. Oops, I ran off of the paper. Okay, so then we're just going to attach that. I'm just going to fold it up so I can attach it. We're going to attach it to our page, the back side of our page, and to the flap that's in the book. Now you want to pay attention to the flap. You do not want to go all the way down to the fold line where your flap moves back and forth, because you want to be sure that your flap can still move. So you want to leave just a little bit there, and then you just want to attach it to the other page, just trying to make sure it all lines up. So then this is what you'll have. You'll have a pocket here. Oops, I should not have done that till it dried. So you'll have a pocket. Let's press that. And then your pocket will also be a little page to open up. There's going to be a lot of little pages in this book, and surprisingly, to be such a small book, it's going to have a lot of areas. So my thoughts were that each flap, so like you have this, if you wanted to do a gratitude journal for 24 days, up and leading up till Thanksgiving, or 30 days of gratitude for November, you've got a lot of places. I don't know that you can put all 30 in here, but you'll have a lot of places. Like you could have day 1 here, day 2 could go here, and then you could open up and you could have 3 and 4 in here, depending on what you're putting on your days as to how much you could put. So that is that spot. Okay, so for this pocket, we're going to make a little flap. So we're going to take a piece of cardstock again, just a different piece. I'm using all the different pieces from this kit, and it is cut at 6, let me make sure, at 6 1/4 by 7. It's approximate. I didn't cut everything perfectly. And so then, for this one, we're going to, I want to take and lay it, what I'm going to do is just put it down in my pocket here. I'm just going to slide it all the way to the bottom so I can see how much room I have. And then this is how I like to do it. Then I like to take and just line it up straight, kind of fold it over so I can have an idea. Then I'll just crease it just a little there, and then I can pull it out and I can just fold it up straight here. Just lining everything up straight. Just pressing that down. So then it will slide in your pocket, and you're going to have it flapped onto this page, and then you'll flap it out and you'll have all this writing area, plus you can pull it out. Now I'm not going to leave it in the pocket while I'm waiting for my glue to dry, because my glue, I'm afraid, will not dry. So let me press that back down and leave it like that. The next flap, what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of paper that is 8 by 3. And this is just a journaling card from the page in the kit. There's a page in the kit that has this journaling card. And so I'm trying to see, this is the top of it. I had it upside down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold it over and match the edges up. And we're just going to make a little flap here. And so if you're following along with the same paper pack, then you can just cut this little piece out for this part, and that makes it really simple. And we're just going to attach it right here at the top of the page. And it's going to be very close to the edge, but not all the way up to the edge. And so there we'll have, and you'll be able to see it from the front now. You're going to be able to see different layers. That's what's fun about this one. So we're just going to attach it, and like before, I like to lay it up against here where I'm going to put it, and then just put the ink on my flap the length of the paper. And just keep in mind, you're not going to glue all the way up to your fold line or up to where the page turns, you know, flaps back and forth, because then that's going to cause it not to turn well. So let me make sure I got it right side up. Nope, this one's the right way. Okay, so I'm just going to attach this flap, not all the way up to my score line or my fold line, but just right there at it, maybe about 1/8 of an inch away from it. Maybe, well, probably a little closer than that, probably more like a 1/16. It's really close to it, but not up against it. That way it can still turn. Make sure you get it glued on there good though. So there we go. I think I might have missed that little upper corner, so I'm just going to add just a little glue up in there and press it down. So you just want to take your bone folder or something and just press it really good so it takes hold. And so then we have a little page that flaps. So this might be dry enough now so we can put our little flap in here so we don't lose it. So we have this flap that goes here. And then we have this one right here. And we're going to decorate all this up at the end. But I want to add all the pages first, and then I'll decorate it up. So I think this is our next one. We can decide, do we want the orange or do we may want this color. So I've cut this one at 4 3/4 by 7 3/4. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold that in half again. So I'm just going to fold it in half like that. And we're going to attach it to the same flap, but this time we're going to turn the second flap over, and we're going to attach it to the back side of this flap. And I also want it to, when it attaches, I want it to be where it's behind this one just a bit. So I'm just going to put it not all the way to the bottom, I'm going to leave just a little bit right there. So once again, I'm just going to add it to the edge there. And I think I'll just try to add a little glue on the edge of this and see if that works. So then we're just going to line that up here with the bottom, but not all the way, just leave a little bit there. And then remember, leave a little bit of room so that your pages can turn and it's not too close to the fold line there. Okay, so I'm just going to press down. Now, if I'm leaving it so that you could add pictures in here, but if you weren't adding pictures, then you would want to just cut out some white paper or some ivory paper, or either some coffee dyed paper or copy paper, and just glue a little square in here so you can write. And you can do that with a lot of these. When they've got the plaid, you could write on the plaid, or you could add some tea stain paper if you're going to write in this journal. So you can really change this up to work for you. So now we have, and I think those two go really good together. And like I said, we'll come back and decorate later. So for our third flap, we are going to be adding another little piece. So this time we're going to go back with another little piece like this, and it measures just about 3 3/4 by 7. And it's just going to be another little page like we did at the front, except this one's going up towards the top. And you can decide which side you want. So you can just lay it in here, because see, it's going to show through. So you may want to lay it and see what you want showing through. Do you want the plaid showing through, or do I want to have the butterflies? And so I'm just trying to decide now what I actually want showing. So if I have the butterflies, it's going to match with this. It's going to be the same. So I think I'm going to have the plaid showing this time. Let me make sure but I do believe I will. And then this is going to be on top of it, so that's what I want to make sure it's going to look good. So that's going to be there, and that's going to be there. So I may want to have the plaid on this side. I think that will look better on this side. Yes. And then, let me check this out again. So that will be okay if it matches. Okay, so let's just add it this way. So we're going to just attach it right here at the top. So I'm just going to add some glue right down the side of this piece. I think that's going to be easier. You can do it either way. I line it up beside it sometimes, and then sometimes I just do the edge here. Just don't want to do too much because you want to leave yourself room that you don't go all the way up to your fold line. I know I keep repeating myself, but I just don't want you to mess up your project. That's why I try to teach you how to make these, because I want to share how to make these projects, because I love when others share how to make projects. That's how I've learned, is from others. And so when I try to teach something, I repeat myself a lot, but I really want to make sure that you get it and that you don't mess up, because I know how discouraging it can be working on a project and then totally mess it up. So I really want to help you not do that. So I'm going to go like that, and then that's just going to, I'm going to leave it plain for now. We'll decorate up later. And so then I'm going to flip it over. And so these are journaling cards that were from the kit. But what I did is I cut them down. They're the 4x6 elements that's in the kit. But instead, I cut it down to about 3.5 by 6. That way I could fold it over like this. You're just folding a half. We're making some more little flaps. And for this one, I know I had to cut off the words a little bit, but they're going to be glued down. You're never going to see those, so that's going to be okay. So then we're just going to fold here. So then I'm going to add this one to the bottom of this page, and then this one's going to go on the top here. I want to make sure they're going to fit here. I may have to trim down just a little bit to make it fit. Maybe okay like that. Let me see here. A lot of times it's just what's it going to look like on the other side. I think it's going to be fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to glue this down like this. So we're going to glue it down on top of the page there, and then it's going to open up as a flap. And I'm going to make this a little pocket. So I want to glue on 3 sides. Oops, I'm getting really messy with my glue here. My lines are not straight at all. Just add a little bit more here that I don't want to come loose. Okay, and then I'm just going to line it up, and I'm just going to open my flap up because I want to make sure that I have it on the flap here. You don't want to be too close to the, like I said, not too close to the middle, and then you want to have it, you just have to wipe a little glue off there, and then just press it on, press everything down. Got a little piece of paper there. So just going to press it down, and then right there will be your little pocket, and then you have your little flap. And then for this one, I'm going to do the same thing. It's a little long, by like just a little hair, but I'm just going to trim that off so it's not hanging over on the other edge. So just trimming just, I mean, it was just a little bitty bit off. And it may be that I just did not cut it exactly to 3. Let's see if that's going to be enough, and I'm just going to attach it there. That'll be perfect. So I'm just going to add glue on the 3 sides again so that it can be a pocket as well. I think this book would be really cute to add pictures to add a bunch of your fall pictures in. It'd be great for your gratitude. And you could use this as a gratitude with pictures as well. You know, instead of writing what you're thankful for, you could always use it, and I'm going to line that up really close to each other. Hold on just a second, then I'll finish my... You could write what you're thankful for, but at the same time, you could also put pictures in. of the people you're thankful for and the things, or just your whole fall activities. Like if you went the pumpkin search pictures or your carving pumpkin pictures, just anything like that you could put throughout this. But there's also writing spots too. So we have that. Okay, so now I forgot to ink around all the edges. So I may go back and ink what I can. Some of the white edges here. But I did forget to ink my edges as I was making this. So if you want to ink your edges, be sure to do that before you start gluing everything down. I don't know that it necessarily needs them inked. I can go back and do some, but some of them I'm not going to be able to. But I think it looks good anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so, and when I decorate it up, it's going to change it too. So we're now down to our last page here. So for the first part, for the front of our flap, what I want to do is I'm just going to make another top opening flap. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking a strip of paper that measures 12 inches tall by 3 3/4 inches wide, and I am going to fold it down. But you know what? I'm going to ink those edges so that the white doesn't show through on those. Since this is a dark brown, it would help the white not to show. Okay, so we're going to take it and make sure I got the right direction. Okay, so what you want to do is we're going to have the flap folding down. And I didn't tell you on this one, but if you have a directional paper, you want to pay attention. So if it's up here and we flip it over and we fold it down, our pumpkin's going to be upside down. So what you want to do is you want to take and flip it upside down. So you want the bottom up here so that when you flip it over and you fold it down, then your pumpkins are right side up. And that works for wording or anything. Now, of course, it's going to be upside down the back, but that doesn't matter. We're going to cover that up anyway. So we're just going to add that to this flap here. We're just going to put glue down this one edge here. Okay, I'm just going to add it right here and add it to our flap. I'm going to open it up so that I can just press down. Okay, and now the last project, we need to get our scoreboard back out. We're going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 5.5 by 8.5. We want to put our paper into the scoreboard with the 8.5 edge up towards the top. And then we're going to score at 8. And then we're going to score again. We're going to turn it around so that our 5.5 edge is at the top. And we're going to score at 5. So you're scoring a 1/2 inch on each edge there. And then we're going to take, and we're just going to fold our paper. So you're going to take this edge here and fold up to that score line. We're just making a pocket, is what we're making. Just going to get that there like that. So then you could have scored it, but that way you have a line there. And now we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut. Okay, so I'm going to get it where you can see it, the score lines. So we want to trim out, first off, you've got this little square here. We're going to start there and we're just going to trim all the way up to our fold line where we folded it in half, or folded it to match to the score line. So you're just going to go all the way right here to this line, and then we're just going to cut this little piece off. Okay. So then it's just like making a little pocket, like you make pockets if you've made them before. So then what we want to do is we're just going to cut a little triangle out right there. We're just cutting the edges so when we fold it up, it folds up good. And if you wanted, you could score that line, and that line is going to be at 4 inches if you wanted to score it instead of just folding it. And I'll try to put that on the cut sheet as well so that you know where to score that one. And then we're going to take and just fold these flaps in. And we're just going to add some glue to them. And we'll have our little pocket here. And I'm just going to have it so that this flap is on the inside here. And it's going to be like this. I could leave that one on the outside if I wanted to, like that. Okay, let's just add some glue to our flaps. And you can leave these flaps on the inside or the outside. I'm going to have this one on the inside, and I'm going to have this one flap over to the outside because I like the looks of it. But on the previous one I made, I had it on the inside because I did make a little prototype today just to make sure that this would work. I used different papers for that prototype, so it's going to be a spring one. Okay. And if everything does not line up, you just need to take a look here. So my edges aren't lining up, so I'm just going to trim the little extra off. I'm not always the best at scoring and at the cutting. I get it made, but it may not be perfect, so I can just fix it afterwards. Just making sure that when I cut those pretty even so it looks good. Okay. I'll trim just a little thing right here. Okay, so now I want to take and I'm going to put this in my book like this. So what I want to do, and I'm trying to see which side I want showing and which side I don't want showing. Okay, so this one's going here like this. So I want to make sure I've got it. It is sticking out some. For this pocket, if you want yours to not stick out, mine is sticking out just a little bit, you're going to want to make it just a tad smaller. I'm okay with it sticking out because I want all these bits and pieces showing. So I'm going to leave mine. But like I said, if you want yours to not stick out, then you'll just need to make yours just a little smaller. So I'm going to take and cut a hole in the top here just to make a little, so we can see that it is a pocket. Just do it like that. And then I'm just going to add some glue down the side of it. And then I'm just going to attach it to the flap here. And I'm going to put this one as close to the fold line as I can without messing it up, just so it doesn't stick out as far. But the first one I made didn't stick out, so I think I may have just cut this one wrong when I was cutting. But that's okay. I think it will look absolutely fine. If I didn't, then I would have remade it, but I think it's fine. Make sure everything lines up here. Okay. Just make sure everything's straight and that it's pressed down. Okay. And there we have a pocket, and you can also use this as a page, and you could use, you have just a little here, you don't really have enough there to use as anything, but I'm trying to decide. I think that I'm going to go back in and I'm going to make this a tuck spot, so I'm just going to go inside here, if I can show you, inside right in here, and I'm just going to add glue right across there so this can be a tuck spot. And as you're making this, you'll find different places you may want to glue shut to make a pocket or to add different things, because these are fun just to play around with and add different things to it. So there we go. So I have that pressed down. So now we have just a little tuck spot there. And if you don't like it and stuff is falling out, you could always glue it up the side there so you could have two pockets. Okay. So we now need, we need to figure out pockets that we're going to put on the inside covers. So let's see what we have here for that. Okay, so I've taken the 4x4 journaling cards that's from the kit, and I have just cut 1/8 of an inch off of one side so that it fits right on the inside here, and I'm just going to make it a tuck spot. And I've done the same thing with another 4x4 card from the kit. I cut 1/8 of an inch off of this side. So that way it's just going to be a tuck spot in the kit, in the journal. I am just going to take some of the white off of those edges. I'm not really inking as much as just where I cut it, getting rid of the white. And so I'm just going to glue it on two sides. The side that's going to be on the edge of the book, the edge of the cover, and then the side down the bottom, across the bottom. And I'm just going to sit that in there. And that's just going to be a little tuck spot. And I do have a little glue oozing out, so I'm just going to wipe that up. There we go. Just get all that off there before I make a big mess. And so then I'm just going to press that down and do the same thing on the front. Just put glue on two sides. Attach that there, and I'm not putting it all the way up to the edge. I'm just leaving a little bit showing through, showing around the edge. I just think it frames it out just a little bit. And then I'm just going to press, and I got to get my paper towel and just wipe some of that glue off. Okay, so we have our book pretty much put together. I'm trying to see if that's going to get in the way of folding it. I think I'm going to try to go back and punch that corner. And that's why I say it's always a good idea to, actually I'm just going to clip it. It's always a good idea to watch this all the way through so you can learn from my mistakes. Even though I made this before, each one just has different little features about it. So I'm just going to clip that across there. I don't think that'll look bad, and that way it'll fold better. And just clip the corner there. There we go. So that's good, and it folds better that way. Okay, and you could make this a pocket, it'd just be a tile pocket. So now let's go back and let's decorate this up. Okay, so now I'm going to take my edge punch and I'm just going to punch the edge on this little booklet. And if you don't have an edge punch, it's no big deal. You don't have to have it. I think the book is just as cute. And you could decorate it up. If you didn't have the edge punch, you could actually decorate it up by adding lace to the edge of this flap, or you wouldn't have to add anything, but if you wanted to decorate it up, you could. So I'm just going to punch the edges and decorate this up. Okay, I'm just going to take my scissors and trim this. So I'm only going to do one edge because I think that's cute, and when you pull it out, it's cute that you see this along the edge here, and then you have this one across there. So now I'm just going to go through all the scraps that I have left over, and I'm going to decorate this up. And I'm just going to do that, and then I'll come back to you and explain everything that I did. the finished journal, and I really love how it turned out. I went ahead and added some Prima flowers here. These are just some little roses, some orange and cream color roses, and then I added a bee from the Harvest Bits pack to the corner here. And I do show you in the video, I did show you how I was putting the cover together. And so let's just do a quick flip through of the finished journal. And so for the inside here, I do want to show you a couple things. For the pockets, I did go back and cut a slit here because it seemed to be catching when you'd open and close the book. And so then I also went through and just inked all the edges of everything that could be inked. And then I've just added a little journal card from the paper pack here. I also love this page. And so here's the little flip out. And then of course you've seen before that it slides out. But I added this little pocket here and then these journaling cards. So you have to remove the journaling cards and then you can open up the little fold out. I like to layer the cards right here so you can see the So Grateful. And I added a little pocket to this flip up, and I added a little sticker there and another little card. And so you could journal on it or you could add a little picture to it. And so here's the journaling spot that we added earlier. I added a little butterfly from the stickers that came in the pack. And here's our little book. And then we have our page here, and I've just inked around it. I've not done anything else to it. And then for these, I have added little tags, little bits in the pocket there. And you could add more to this. This is just what I've done. And once you're working in it, you could find that you want to add a lot more to it. I added a little pocket here, and then a little journaling card from the kit, or from the paper pack, in there. And then we just have that flip up, and then we have the pocket here. And in the pocket, I decided later on, it's not on camera, but this was the long piece that I was sticking in the pockets in the video, but I decided to fold it in half and make it just a little flip up. And so you could stick it in like that, or you can have it flap over the pocket, whichever way that you like it best. And I did originally do it like this, but either way will work. And you could add more to this pocket. I think there's room in this pocket for a bit more. And then I have a little journaling card behind it. And so you could add a picture, and then you could journal on here. And then for the back pocket, I did the same thing here. I just cut a slant to cut that corner off, because at first I cut a small slant, but it just wasn't enough. So I cut a larger slant there, and so then just put a little card in it, and it still has room for a lot more. So I think this is a cute little journal, and it's very quick. It's a quick little journal, especially if you have not made your gratitude journal and you want to get started on one in November. This would give you a place to document your fall, your Thanksgiving, and you could just use this as a little mini album to document with pictures and things the fall season, or this could be added. If I was going to add this to a junk journal and just use it to slip in the pockets, I would leave these roses off since it would be too thick to stick down in the pocket, but this would be great also to put in a junk journal into one of the pockets and just slip in there. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will give this a try. It is a lot of fun, and it's a quick little project to do in the evening. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.